This is Devin Kraft from the Science Faction Podcast. You're listening to the BS Podcast Network. Enjoy the show.
This podcast brought to you by OuchThatHurts.com. Visit Ouch That Hurts for music, gaming, reviews, editorials, podcasts, and more. OuchThatHurts, HERTZ.com.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Save Point Podcast. This is Dan. I am joined here by not one, not two, but three other people of the Save Point Podcast, and it's been a while since we've had that for an episode. So I'm here with Jesus.
What's up?
Steve.
Yo, yo, yo.
And Tuesday.
Hey, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, this is what
Tuesday.
It is Tuesday when we record, actually.
Tuesday on Tuesday.
There you go. Is this your third episode Tuesday?
Third or fourth?
Third or fourth. Well, if you want to listen to all the episodes that Tuesday has been on and all the episodes Steve and Jesus and myself have been on, make sure to go to our website at www.thesavepointpodcast.com or check us out at OuchThatHurts, HERTZ.com. Also, find us on our Discord, which if you go to one of those sites, you'll be able to click on the link for us. You guys like how I segued into that? That was pretty good.
That was totally slick until you pointed it out.
Yes.
Until I pointed it out.
Yeah, you had it. You had a flow, and then
I had a flow.
Yeah, then you looked at it.
Yeah.
Never crossed the streams.
Should I start it over, or should I just keep rolling with it? I'll just keep rolling with it.
Just keep rolling.
Just keep rolling. So find us on our join our Discord. It's on any one of those sites. If you're listening to us on iTunes or Google Play and you want a different place, you can go there and you'll find all our other sites for our podcast also. So once again, though, we thank you for listening to us. But though, one more thing is that if you can leave us a rating, leave us a comment, some feedback. We'd love to hear from you on what you think of the episode, what we can do better, what we're doing great, and kind of go from there. So if you can, hit that subscribe, pound those like buttons, those stars for us. We want those 5 stars, and let us know the comments. But we'll begin every episode as we always do, and what we have been playing. And randomly, I think we'll go with Steve. What have you been playing?
Oh, man. For the past 7 days, 24 hours a day, Farming Simulator 17.
Wait, Jesus, what have you been playing?
Wait, wait. I thought you deleted that. You lied to us. You lied to our faces, Steve.
Are you trying to get those pigs for me?
I am such a liar. I've played 0 Farming Simulator 17. Sorry, everybody. Sorry to get everyone's hopes up, but that beast has been slain.
Okay.
I'm just never gonna get my pigs.
You'll never gonna get the pigs.
I thought after re-listening to the last episode, I was like, he deleted it, and then you just lied to us, man.
I'm a liar. I played a couple of things, 3 things in fact. I finally cracked into We Happy Few, which has been around for a while, and it's now available through the Xbox Game Pass service because they bought the company. I think it's Compulsion. Compulsion Games, I think did
yes,
that one?
they bought the company. Yep.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about Xbox Game Studios later. But so I put that in there, and I started playing it, and it was pretty much just like the YouTube videos that I watched of it. It's fine. So let's move on. I don't know.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. I haven't gotten far enough into the game to do like the stealth stuff, because it seems like there's like the things you can do in the game. They're like, you can sit down and then like he pulls out a newspaper and he starts like reading it, and you can change your clothes. So like all those kind of things I haven't had to deal with in game yet. I haven't played it enough. but I've done a little bit of combat, a little bit of questing, and it's you run around, you collect things, you craft things, you're trying to get from point A to point B, and that's great. The fact that the world is, at least if I remember correctly, the world that you're playing in is randomly generated to a certain point. So every time you play, it's a little bit different. The locations are a little bit different, even though there's like main things that you go to. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. I'll get back to it if I have time, which I probably won't. But nothing bad about it.
I've kind of heard the same sentiment. Is that it's just hard to really kind of get into, and I hate to cut you off really fast, but as we talk on this podcast, we always kind of, I'm always looking at social media and back and forth and just seeing if anything pops up. And I just want to say, so, we're recording this on Tuesday, the 12th of February, and it's 10:05 p.m. Central Time. And I just want to read something. So do you guys know that Shawn Layden, the president or CEO of PlayStation, gave a keynote today?
No, I did not.
No.
He did.
No?
He went to DICE 19. And he gave a wonderful speech about innovation and the problems and the issues that they had, and the mistakes they made with the PlayStation 3, and how the PlayStation 4 has been successful. And it was really, really well done. If you have a chance, go on YouTube and YouTube it. It's out there, and it's really well done. It's just a really kind of cool step forward. So Phil Spencer, the president of Xbox, writes, "Congrats on a great keynote for DICE at Shawn Layden. Great to see an industry leader deliver an inclusive industry message." This is what Shawn Layden replies as, and I think it's just really, really awesome. He says, "Thanks, Phil. Your mega keynote last year set the tone, so I have the privilege to stand on your shoulders. The three amigos, you, Reggie, and I, can do much to bring our community closer and further. All the best." I just think that that's an awesome tweet from two companies that basically, 5 years ago were ready to strangle each other.
The console wars ended in a ceasefire.
Yeah, I mean it.
Because there's no winning. You could just keep on fighting and saying, mine's better, mine's better, mine's better. That'll go on forever. And gamers will be at each other's throats for no good reason other than that they picked a side. And it's great that these guys are stepping up and saying, like, we're all gamers. We're all friends. We should all push each other to be better, not tear each other down. And that's good. It's amazing.
It's just really cool to kind of see. So, sorry for interrupting you on that, but We Happy Few, that was one of those games on my radar that I wanted to play. And then as it was in development and then it got delayed and all of that, it was just kind of I just lost interest in it. I have no interest to play it.
I think the hype machine got that game a little too hard, because it looks, the art style is so striking that it just immediately draws your eye to it, because you have this funky 60s, nostalgia thing, and these people with these white faces and these big happy grins, and you're just like, what is going on? And it invites you to into the world, what is here? And because it was delayed, and because there was an extended a beta or alpha or whatever it was, because people have been playing this game for a while, before it was even had a storyline, really, it was just here's levels to play. I just think it was announced too early, and before it was done, and then by the time it was done, people were already moved on to the next thing, unfortunately. So anyways, I played a little bit of that. That was fun. That was fine. I play this little game that I bought on Steam for I don't know, it was $15 or maybe it was $20, something like that. And I came across it because I was cruising through Reddit, and I am subscribed to the Cyberpunk subreddit, and it popped up. This guy was like, "Hey, my game just launched. Here's a link. Check it out." And it's called it's weird. It's called Spin Mortality, but the two in the logo, the two N's are put together, so it's almost like Spin Morality or Mortality. But you can go to spinnorality.com, SPINNORTALITY, and it is a cyberpunk management sim. And so like I looked at the visuals, I watched like the little movie on it, and I was like, this looks like it's right up my alley. It's a sim game, but you are playing as a mega corporation attempting to take over the world from the shadows, essentially. So you have like there's tech trees to go down, there's people to manage, there are the things that you research, alter the game in certain ways. The whole deal is that the group of shadow leaders in the world want immortality, and they've given you like, okay, you're now the leader of this company and you have X amount of years to give us immortal bodies. Figure it out, And so you start off and like the game has a little tutorial, and the first thing you do is like launch your own social media site. And so you have to research it, you launch your social media, and then you have to market it per country depending on like the stats of that country and like where they are in the world. And you have to like do research to see like which stats are good for which place. It's really kind of intricate. The visuals are a little rough, but the game doesn't really rely on the visuals. It mostly you need the visuals to convey information to you, and it does that just fine. So I got that as this little indie game, played it for a couple hours, I think, and it's a whole lot of fun as just like this little, $20 distraction, $10 distraction, whatever it was. I want to say it was like regularly $20, but it was like 10% off or something because it's this launch week or whatever it was. So, if that sounds interesting, if you're into management sims and you dig like a cyberpunk, like big mega corporation kind of theme, then this game will be right up your alley. It was a lot of fun. The little tagline is grow your megacorp, influence media, warp culture, start riots, spread fake news, topple governments, become immortal. So there's lots and lots to do in this game.
So right up my alley.
I like
it.
It
Actually
so
sounds
far.
really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, neat.
Yeah, I have to play that.
Cool. Yeah. It looks awesome. We should, this guy, it was just like some dude on Reddit. I bet, and I don't want to make any promises here, but I bet we could contact him and like have him on the show or something to talk about his game. I wouldn't doubt if we could do that.
Yeah. Why don't since you have the contact with him, why don't you try that and see if
I'll
you want
reach
to?
out.
I would definitely.
Yeah. I'll totally
That'd be
reach out to the
awesome.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can. Does he have a contact?
If you can put the post on our Discord, a link to the original post.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. He's got a contact. He's got a press kit. Yeah, there's a whole thing. Yeah, I'll contact this guy. So that was a lot of fun. The last thing I want to talk about is I played Apex or Apex Legends. Is that
Yes,
Legends?
that's Legend. Apex Legends.
Apex Legends. And I think now that I've played several battleground games, I think it's just not for me. I'm just not into it. I know I've had like two bad experiences with Fortnite, and I thought that was just because I came into it late and everyone else knows how to play, and it was just like, oh, this has a big learning curve because I don't know what's happening. But I jumped into this game and it was like, this is brand new, and it was kind of the same. And it's not a bad game. The visuals ran smooth. The gameplay elements made sense. Like I knew what I was doing for the most part pretty quickly. It had a nice little tutorial to kind of point you around and like, give you the like, here's what to do. It doesn't throw you in blind, which is nice. But gameplay wise, it just does not appeal to me at all. And that's just, personal opinion there. I played for like 3 rounds, I think. The first round I died within like a few minutes. The second and third I lasted a little bit longer, but yeah, not for me. No, thank you.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, nothing against the game. I like what they're doing. If that's the type of gameplay that people are into, which I mean, they've had, millions of downloads or whatever of it already. Like there's some stats out there of how well it's doing, and that's good on them. That's awesome. But I think I'm just one of those people. I just don't have the time. I can't I just can't. I can't even. I don't have that amount of time to research and to play over and over and over again and learn the maps and all that kind of stuff. At least if it was just a straight deathmatch game, then you just run around and shoot at whatever's moving. But they've got this team element that, like, maybe if I was playing with people that I knew, it would be more fun. But like the people I was playing with weren't talking or anything, so we were just kind of running around, and then I was just kind of copying what they were doing because I didn't know what I was doing, and I don't know.
Do you ever know what you're doing, Steve?
Almost never. I'm always flying by the seat of my pants. Yeah, I don't know. So Apex Legends, if I were to give it a rating, I'd give it like a thumbs up, but it's just not for me.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
On to the next person.
On to the next person. Hey, Jesus, what have you been playing?
I've also been playing Apex Legends, and I've had the opposite experience.
Amazing.
I've like Steve said, it is a preference choice. I've kind of divulged away from Fortnite. It was just getting too stagnant. But for Apex Legends, for its first week of release, it's done a really great job. Like Steve said, there's the stats are actually, I do have the stats for that. They've had 25 million people sign up for it. They've had a total of 10 million congruent players at one time.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. For its first week launch, props to Respawn. They did a good job. My experience, I'm not that great at shooters anymore. Like at my old video game age, I can't point and click. But having that team element, because I usually play with friends, so they can I can piggyback off them. I will always say I'm a better teammate than a shooter, so I can at least back you up. I can cover fire. I can give you items, things like that. But I do like that team element that they put. I like that if you permanently die, you don't permanently die. They can revive you if they get a chance. I love that idea. But
I like when you start up and it picks your team, and then it kind of goes like round robin of selecting your character, so you can see like what somebody else has picked, so you don't pick the same thing, so you can kind of get your teams better balanced a little bit better. I liked that aspect of it.
Yes, I actually like that too, because then you don't kind of force yourself to grab the same, not being like a one-trick pony. I've been trying to bounce around between two characters at the moment. But like you said, sometimes I can't play with with my friends, so I usually play with randoms, just to get a feel of the world. And something I didn't learn ahead of time was kind of the ping motion to kind of let people know there's items here and there's enemies there, which I wish I'd went through the tutorial first. I jumped in straight to the game. And then, but for anyone playing it, the ping system really works if you don't have comms. You can still play reasonably well with randoms if you don't have mics. Just letting people know like where the enemies are, where items are, where certain weapons are. It's a great mechanic. I like that. But that's one of the games I've been playing. The only other game I've been playing is I've been continuing to finish up some of the side quests for Kingdom Hearts 3. And that's been a chore and a half.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been my week of gaming.
Are there good side quests for that? Is it like collect 500 Goofy faces, or is there like cool little stories and stuff?
What's funny is it's not Goofy faces, it's Mickey Mouse emblems. So I'm working on
hidden Mickeys.
Hidden Mickeys.
Yes.
So
nice.
I'm working on that so I can get the secret movie. There's a secret movie if you collect a certain amount and finish the game again. So currently working on that one. And then I'm trying to get like the best weapon in the game, the Ultima weapon, which is one of the most tedious weapons to acquire in any Kingdom Hearts game. So I'm working on trying to acquire that.
Is it just a shotgun? Is it like a high-powered shotgun?
In reference to weapons, yes, it is a very powerful shotgun keyblade. They need a shotgun keyblade.
Shotgun keyblade. Well, there is one that well, I'm very, very early in the game because I haven't had time to play. I'll get to it when it's my turn.
We'll get.
So, anything else, Jesus?
Just those two for now.
Awesome. Tuesday, what have you been playing?
I have had the most distracted week in my gaming I think I've had in a long time, because usually I just sit down and like I kind of roulette through my games and I'm like, this is the move today. So I've been playing 3 different things. Still bumping Mega Man. I've been bumping back and forth between the X Legacy Collection and just the regular Legacy Collection. Went back to Pokemon Sun and Moon this week. Which is actually my least favorite arc of the whole Pokemon saga.
I second that.
Yeah, it's not good. I like it because it's Pokemon, but I'm not down for the way they changed everything. And I wasn't down for like the flow of the story either. Like, it's taken me the longest to complete those games that it's ever taken me to complete a Pokemon game, because I'll usually just sit down for like 24 hours and just play it straight through. Like,
lucky.
Yeah. Okay.
hardcore.
So let me tell you guys how bad it is, which like you will probably lose communication with me when the next one comes out. So literally the day that Sun and Moon dropped, I went and sat outside of GameStop so that I could be one of the first people after I got off work and waited for the release of it.
Nerd.
And then I took the next day off work so that I could play through the entire game. And then that wasn't enough. So I came into work the next day, like with my 3DS and everything, with the charger, because I hadn't completed the game yet. And then it just kind of sat there, and then I found myself picking up other ones. But that's usually the level of like enthusiasm I am. So if I just like dip off the face of the planet whenever that release happens, just know that's what happened.
She's dead in a gutter somewhere. No, she's collecting them all. Got it.
Nah, man, she's lost in the Pokemon sauce as usual.
We should start using that phrase, lost in the Pokemon sauce. Wait, should bring back the hashtag, Steve, or no?
Hashtag lost in the Pokemon sauce.
There you go.
Yo,
Lost.
don't Google that. You find some weird stuff.
Oh
man.
God, yeah, that's what I was trying to avoid that.
Yeah, please nobody Google that. Yeah, so rest assured, when the new game drops, that will be me. I might take a week off work. I might pull a Jesus. Might have to take a page out of his book and take a whole week off of work just to play a game.
How did that work out for you? Is it worth it?
I still have my job. I got paid for that week. I finished my game. I loved it.
That's
Hey,
like
man,
remember the movie Euro Trip?
Oh,
Where the
yeah.
one guy he's like, yeah, I got a summer job, helping out at an attorney's office. He's like, yeah, shouldn't you be there? It's your first week. He says, no, I'm not going to miss this. So through the whole movie, he keeps getting the calls from the cell phone. It's like, I told you, I put it on Humphrey's desk, or and all back and forth or whatever. So finally, at the end of the movie, they're like, he's like, okay, yeah, I understand, sir. Well, you got to do what you got to do. Okay. And they're like, oh, they finally caught on to you. They're like, no, they fired Humphreys and it gave me a raise.
Oh, that's good. That's real good.
Yep. So, no, sounds good. So Tuesday wants to get back in the Pokemon sauce.
yes, I am always trying to get back into it. I still play Pokemon Go.
I'll join you there. I still do. I'm waiting for the big event this weekend. So.
Me too.
I flip phones.
It's too cold for you. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's too damn cold up here. Yeah, you guys all live in like warm areas, except for you, Jesus. You're what, Oregon, right?
It's a mix. It's a hit or miss over here.
No, I mean, like, we're fucking dressing like Nanook of the North over here.
Hey, Steve's like in like 70 degrees weather every other day.
Yeah.
Not quite,
Yeah,
but
it's hit or miss over here too. Like this week, I don't know, yesterday it was super warm and then today it rained and now it's back down to like 30 degrees again from being up at 80 yesterday. So you just never know. Yeah, you never know here.
mhm.
You guys all suck.
Oh, it's the worst. We're the worst people.
Yeah,
No,
I had to pull out shorts yesterday. God.
This is where
that's
Darren
it. I'm gone. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
He kicks us all out from this podcast. He's just getting all the Eskimos. He's like, can't deal with them. They're all too warm.
Too warm. So
What is snow anyway? I've heard about it.
I've seen it in video games and movies.
Yeah,
looks
it's always, is it like white? It's like fluffy. What does it do?
I'm going to say this the nicest way that I can. Fuck all you guys. So, well, yeah.
With that,
God.
There's that. Dan, what have you been playing? Since I've been snowed in. No, I don't even know where to start with this. So from like 2 weeks ago, Jesus and I were trying to record, and then we didn't get a chance to make it. That's why our other episode that's why we skipped a week. So we do apologize that we skipped a week. And then last week, as you guys said, and I love how Steve, you described it. I was at a concert, listening to music, a music concert, listening to music.
I mean, I'm not wrong, right?
Not wrong. This is a shameless plug, and I know that I've been bugging you guys about it, especially you Tuesday, but I just love it. I went to go see Bring Me the Horizon, and it was amazing. They were a band that's been on my bucket list for close to 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I've wanted to see them so bad. I love their music. I think that their new album is amazing, and I know that there's going to be a whole bunch of people that disagree with me on that one, but I think it's absolutely amazing. I've probably listened to it. It came out at the middle of January, and I've probably listened to it, I kid you not, probably 100 times. All the way through. It's literally always on repeat. Like my coworker has gotten to the point where he's just like, I know the album. I don't even listen to the band, but I know the album because of how much you've been playing it. So I thank you guys for taking over the podcast last week. And then, so that was Tuesday. I actually reviewed a game called City of Brass, which our review should be on ouchthathurts.com sooner or later. I know that they're going to be posting that soon. I believe it got released for Switch on the 7th of February. But it was a game like on PS4 and Xbox and Steam. So you can go ahead over there and check that out. But I was playing that game. It's a very interesting, it's like a mixture of Dead Cells meets Fallout or Skyrim.
I'm listening.
Honestly, don't listen too much.
Okay.
The game premise is great, and it takes place in like I want to say like Arabian. There's like an Arabian theme to it, a Persian theme to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like Prince of Persia style.
Yeah. And basically you go through and you go and it's there's another game that I have to mix in there, and it's Dark Souls. So it's a first person Dark Souls Dead Cells game. You basically try to do speed runs through it, and you try to take on these characters, and you have traps, and you want to get loot and all of that. The problem with it is that, and I said this in my review, is that the premise of the game works wonderfully if you're playing on a big screen or a monitor. Playing on the handheld version of Switch, it's absolutely horrible. You feel so like you have you have a whip in one hand, and then you have another weapon in the other. Like your whip has to be so spot on, and all it really does is stun somebody, and then you want to slash them with your sword or whatever you have. The problem with it is that you feel like you have to be like in the chest of the person that you're hitting. Like you have to be extremely close to them or you don't land any strikes. And the problem too is that with the whip being in the left hand, you got to kind of turn like yourself, you know how like you got to kind of like staff yourself over to like the left to hit them, and then you got to like move back and then be able to hit them with your right hand. And before you know it, by the time you're actually doing all of that, you actually could have like 2 or 3 other people around you hitting you from the sides, and you have no idea. Like all it does, it doesn't even give you an indicator like which side is hitting you. It just starts to go red. So it's like if you go left and somebody's hitting you from the right, you're basically dead. And that's basically, and that's where the Dark Souls element comes in, is that they hit so hard that it's like you can walk, and if you misstep somewhere, suddenly there's 4 of them on you and you have no idea how to get out because you're in that first person view mode.
Is it only playable through first person?
It's only playable through first person.
Okay.
And then the other part that really kind of that I noticed, and I know it's procedurally generated, but it was like every room that I stepped into, they had spikes right at the entrance. So it's like, I know I'm going to lose health no matter what when I walk into a room. Like it got so annoying. Like, you want to play through a game and you want to be able to give a good review. This was such a tread to try to get through it. And it was just so hard to try to get through the game. And it is just time of my life I'll never get back.
Oh, no.
All I want is your honesty in reality. Let me know what the game is about.
But when I did put it in and play it on the screen, I started to enjoy it. Like because I felt like I had more room on my screen to move around. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like that on a lot of Switch games, though. Like, honestly, the handheld component, it's cool, but a lot of times I find myself being like, no, this ain't it.
I could totally see that. Like, I don't have a Switch, but I do know like some movies or TV shows, if I'm going to watch like through Netflix or whatever, I pull out my phone to watch it that way. It just makes my eyes hurt. It's just not meant to be on a screen that size, even though it's represented correctly. It's at the correct, frame rate and all that stuff. Technically it works, but that doesn't mean it's good. And that's unfortunate when it happens with the Switch.
Well, I think that was probably one of the things that people were afraid of, honestly.
Yeah.
Where, what were going to start to be some of the limitations of what the Switch could do. And I think we found it to a point.
Okay.
So I did that. And then, so I was playing that. I went to the concert, and then my wife and I went up and saw my nephew in Wisconsin, my nephew and my niece, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law in Wisconsin for the weekend. I did not bring my Switch because someone who will not be named forgot it to pack it. And now people are going to be like, well, that's your Switch. It's your responsibility. Let's just put it this way. Somebody's playing Pokemon while I'm at work. Okay. So this person was supposed to charge it and grab it and bring it, and this person did not.
Look, Dan, when you were covering yourself with the Pokemon sauce, you can't remember everything, okay? it gets in your pores, it gets in your creases, and it's only Pokemon. So I'm sorry, man.
It does.
Oh, God. Never mind. I get it.
I can attest to that. Once it just gets in there, man, you're lost.
You can't clean it out.
No. It doesn't come off.
I can't, you guys. Stop.
Like,
I can't.
The Pokemon sauce is like the glitter of the gaming world. Once it's on you, it's never coming off.
Oh,
God, I can't.
We've killed Jesus.
I literally watched the Pokemon card opening before coming onto this podcast. So I just have Pokemon on my mind. Now you're just throwing sauce everywhere. And it's too
I have
vivid.
Pokemon on my mind constantly.
It's that good sauce.
I know it is. It's just too much.
What else did you do, Dan?
For anybody listening, this podcast is going to be rated explicit. No.
Well, that's only if your mind thinks it.
So basically for the weekend, I really didn't get a chance to play anything on that until I got home, and then on Sunday I played the Division 2 beta, which I know that we want to talk about, which I say we talk about it now. I played it, and I think I probably played it for about a good, I would say 5 hours.
That's good. Good chunk.
Yeah, it was good. I got to play it for about 2.5 hours in the middle of the day, and then for about another 2.5 hours before I went to bed on Sunday night. My impressions, I don't want to call it an expansion because I don't think it's an expansion. But I don't even know what I want to say about it.
So okay, so here,
it's hard to describe. Like I think it reminds me a whole hell of a lot of the first one, and I think I was one of the rare ones that from the beginning of the Division, the first one, all the way through Endgame and all of that, I loved it. I loved every second of it. I didn't have any issues with it. I didn't have any issues that I know that people were griping about it. I loved that game. So me playing this, it reminded me a lot of the first one. And I loved that it reminded me a lot of the first one. But there was little tweaks to it that if you didn't play the first one, like this game is going to be like, oh, okay, what's really the big deal? It's a great game, but I mean, you get what I'm saying. Like for an example, like just the way that the menus are kind of laid out is really nice. I like what they're doing with the base of operations. I thought that was kind of a good idea. And I think one of my biggest ones is like when you go to safe houses. So like in the first game, you'll go to a safe house, you discover it, and then you start to go around, and then like you went on to the next mission, and there was areas that unless you really wanted to explore them and get like the cell phones or the holograms or whatever, it's like you really didn't do anything else in those areas. This one you actually like you upgrade the safe houses, which is really interesting to me. Like I loved, like, okay, I was like, that's a good point a good thing that I didn't even realize it was kind of missing from the game. And I'm kind of happy that it's in the second one.
okay.
Does that make sense?
No, yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I picked up the first Division. I enjoyed it. I didn't get to finish most of it because you're not the only one saying that it kind of feels more of the same. And that's not it's not a bad thing if you enjoyed the first Division, but there's so many looter shooters out there that depending on what type of player you are, if the Division wasn't your thing, then you'll just probably hop into a different thing. Because around the time when I was playing the Division, I enjoyed the what's the best way to put it? Kind of the more realistic feel.
Yes.
I like the kind of the base building. It was limited back then, but it looks a little bit more robust now. I like that. But
I wouldn't even really call it base building though.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Upgrading the base?
Yeah, like that. Yeah. But for me, after a while, the loot pool wasn't that intriguing because the one thing I did like about the Division was the ability to mod your weapons. That was one of the critical things that I liked about the Division.
Yes.
But I just didn't find most of the weapons really intriguing at that point, and I kind of just fell back into Destiny since I just liked their designs. I liked the motion you got from that. But the Division itself right now, The Division 2, I mean, like if you enjoyed the Division 1, you're going to get more of the same, but with a few little tweaks and upgrades to what it was before. And that's what I've been hearing around from everyone, from the people at least who are putting out reasonable, not testimonies, better views of what the game is, not people just spouting nonsense. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, I think one of the cool things too also is that there's no more paid DLC. They said that all of their expansions, everything that they're going to be doing is going to be completely free for the Division, which I think is a great thing.
It's awesome.
It is. It really is. End game stuff. There's, they even talk about end game. Like they have a section of end game that they talk about. So it's just, so I mean, they're planning things. I also think one more thing that I forgot is I also think that there's the scale of it is bigger, and it's not like, and the way that I look at it is, and Steve and Jesus, because Jesus, you said you played it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing with it is that, so think of the first Division and how it felt like the streets were crammed.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it feel like the streets are like wide open now? And like when you look at the building, that's like, holy shit, that's a tall building.
No, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in the first Division, it always felt like it kind of felt flat to me.
That's a good way to put it. No, it's weird because because the first Division, what's the best way to put it? It's flat it's a weird way to say it because if you didn't play it, just it's hard. Because that's I can attest what Dan's feeling by that word, but
like you were in a giant corridor because all the buildings were tall. So because you don't look up that often, the way that the camera is, it just seems like there are walls around you the whole time and you're going down giant corridors.
Exactly.
There you go.
Division 2, the buildings are a little smaller, there's some open spaces, and so you get kind of this grander view of things.
Yes.
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Steve, what was your thought on it? Because I know that you played.
I enjoyed it. So I come into these kind of games thematically a little bit. So what I really liked about playing First Division, which I didn't play that much of it, I didn't get to any of the in-game stuff. I didn't do any of like the PvP stuff. But it was about a world where you are trying to survive and you're trying to help others survive when like this was like a virus hits and everyone's dying and it's winter time and so you're running around, you're a division agent, you've been activated and you're trying to help everybody. That's great. That's wonderful. Well, now it's like 2 years later or something, or X amount of time has passed. The world isn't any better, but people are starting to rebuild. So instead of it being a game about survival, it's a game about rebuilding. And they took that theme and they threaded it through the entire game, where you're out there in the world, you're helping to rebuild these little communities, which you do a mission, you like unlock this community, which is like a little like shanty town essentially. And you go up there and they're like, hey, cool, thank you. Here's like 5 missions, and each one of these missions unlocks something in this place. And so like, I was like, cool. So I'm going to do one of these missions. And then you go off, go to a place, you kill a bunch of dudes, you get to the end. They say, cool. Now we've unlocked this thing back in the community. So you go back and now this thing's unlocked, and it shows it. It shows it. It's not just a stat increase. Now you see like the one that I did that I thought, oh, that's really cool, is I unlocked a gaming corner for the kids. There are kids in the game, which is just terrifying.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's the worst, but the best. Because you like a lot of these games don't have kids in them because certain countries, like you can't kill kids in video games. It's like they just don't allow it. So a lot of games just don't have kids in them. Like Fallout, there's no kid. Well, Fallout 1 and 2 had kids, but the 3 and up, the kids are immortal or they're just not there. And it's like, why wouldn't kids be everywhere? But anyways, there's kids in these community things. So it's terrifying because when you get into and you think about this world, like there are kids growing up in this, and it's like this ruined world, but you as the player are trying to make it better. And it's terrifying. But anyway, so you go on this mission, you go in this library, you kill a bunch of dudes, you save whoever, and they're like, cool, we're going to bring back stuff to help people. And so then you unlock this little like gaming corner. So where before it was just like this rooftop area, well, now there's like a TV in the corner and some couches and the kids are playing games. And you're like, it makes the world feel real. It feels like you are rebuilding something. And then gameplay wise, because you're rebuilding this community, now they can spare people for you to send back to your home base, which is in the White House. Like spoilers, but that's like the first thing you see. Like your home base is the White House, which I thought was really cool. But then, you save people from this community, you make their community better. They can spare people. Those people are sent back to the White House. And now like your core, upgrades can happen. And like those are like the bigger game changes. So it's like you're weaving your way through these steps of upgrades, but every step of the way you are improving the world. You're making it better. And if the game continues that way, and if you're going to all these different communities and you're trying to make them better, and in turn that makes your home base better, the White House, and that makes your support better. Now you can have better, armor and weapons, and just, everything just keeps getting better that way. That is cooler to me than saying, hey, these bad guys have a thing that I want, kill them, and now that thing is mine. That just feels like you're just as bad as the bad guys, right? And I think, in some ways, that's kind of how the first division felt. Like everyone's trying to survive, and you're trying to survive just as much as like random bad guys trying to survive, and you're shooting at each other. You happen to win. How are you any better than they are? Right. But in this one, they make it very clear, like you are fighting for this cause. It's no longer this destroyed world. It's a world being rebuilt, and you were helping to rebuild it. And just thematically, that whole idea just kind of flows throughout the whole game and just makes it feel more hopeful. And I think the location and having it be kind of more wide open instead of, the corridors of New York. Instead, you've got kind of a wider open DC, which there are still tall buildings and stuff, but it just kind of adds to that theme. I don't think that this would have worked in New York as well. It would have, some of it would have worked, but it just, I don't know, all of it together, really, really good. I had a whole lot of fun with it. I ended up playing with some randos a few times, running missions and stuff. No mics were used, but we were able to communicate very easily. Only had very minor bugs. It's a beta, so whatever. There were very minor bugs. One that was great, just a wonderful bug, is I was climbing down a rope, and you have like this little ratchet thing that goes onto it, so it makes a sound effect, a little click, click, click sound effect. And then when I was done, the sound effect didn't stop. And so I played the game for a good hour with this clicking noise until I found another rope. And then when I climbed on that rope, when I was done with it, then the clicking stopped. So I'm sure they'll fix it. Not a big deal. And I probably could have logged off and logged back on and it would have been fine, but I just didn't care. I had it turned down low anyways. So, Division 2, yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be good. They're going in the right direction. It feels enough like the first game that it's not a big change. There are, changes in the way the gameplay is, but not so much that it feels like a different game, but yet enough differences that it feels like a different game, if that makes sense.
No, I agree with you. Do you want me to pick up a copy on PC and we can power through it? Or do you have it on Xbox?
I have not. I have the demo on the Xbox, so I think I'd go Xbox with this one, just because it'd be easier to find people out in the world. I think.
No, what I'm saying is, do we want to power through the first one, dude?
Oh, the first one. Yeah, I have that on PC.
You do?
Yeah,
maybe I'll look at it. Maybe we'll power through it before it gets released.
Yeah, man.
I'm always up for playing the Division. I absolutely love that for the first game.
Yeah. I played it for several hours, way back when, and then kind of didn't go back to it after I was done. So yeah, I'd be up for going back in there and checking things out again for sure.
Awesome. So Tuesday, did you get a chance to try it or?
No, I didn't.
Okay, we'll skip you then. No, I'm only kidding.
Wow.
Damn.
Did you ever play the first one or no?
I don't think I did. When you guys are talking about it, it kind of like jogged my memory. But I don't think I ever actually played it. I think I watched a few people play it a few times.
Okay.
I'm one of those people that really likes to watch people play games and like live vicariously through them.
That works.
But I don't think I ever got into it extensively.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
No, it works. It works. Actually, I have to say, so when The Division came out, I was actually living in an apartment in Indiana, and we only had one TV.
Mm-hmm.
And my one buddy so I co-opted it, not four-personed it. Because you could have four people. You have up to four people, I think, in it. Him and I played it on PlayStation. It was just him and me. Like we did the whole game just co-op, not four people.
Nice.
And we went to Endgame, and I kid you not, when that game came out, he was off on Friday nights and Saturday nights. My wife got to the point where it was like, could you take me out once, please?
Oh no.
Oh yeah, no, like it was bad. Like every waking moment that him and I could play, like there was Saturdays that I would get stuff done. Like she loved it because I get a whole bunch of stuff done around the apartment during the week because I didn't want to do it on the weekend. So like the laundry would be done and dishes would be done and the place would be swept and all of that. And I'd be like, okay, Saturday. And he got up at like 10. I got up at 10 and we'd start playing. And then we wouldn't we go until like 1 or 2 in the morning just playing it.
Oh, it's amazing.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I put so much into it. The only thing we didn't do was the Dark Zone. Like we just didn't care to do the Dark Zone.
Really? I was a big Dark Zone person. I was that guy who killed everyone.
Well, we hated the fact that people would just come out of nowhere and just like demolish you like right when the helicopter came. Like we would get pissed about that, so we just didn't.
That was me.
So, but no, the Division. I think the Division 2 is, if they keep a lot of the core elements of the first one, which it seems like they have, and then obviously new setting. I'm waiting for it. I love it. I can't wait. I'll be picking it up. Review it. Well, I mean, I'll stream it. I'll do anything. Like I love. So too. I'm really looking forward to it.
Nice.
I think we'll get into, before we talk about our other game that's coming out. Why don't we talk about what has happened today, and that is supposedly, what is it, up to almost 800 people got laid off from.
Yep.
From
just
Activision.
just shy of 100 people.
Yeah, just shy of 800 people.
I think it's like 8% of the workforce is what it worked out to.
Yeah.
Yes, something like that.
Yeah.
So does anybody have any theories of why this could be happening, considering that they did show profit?
So I actually have a good theory. I've been following this since yesterday, and I've been kind of paying attention to the news ever since I heard they were going to do this. And yeah, it's surprisingly, after their calls and everything, they've made record numbers this time around. But they still had to let go because their projections were off from their couple of their models, because a lot of the revenue they get are from their live game services like Hearthstone and Overwatch, and they haven't really done that much as far as those two games are concerned. Or even during the last BlizzCon, they didn't really do a great job announcing anything. Like, we got that whole Diablo mobile game, but there hasn't been a main title game from Blizzard in so long. Like the latest game was Overwatch, and that came out in 2016.
Yeah.
And
well, actually, they had Battle of Azeroth that came out.
Well, even that expansion, a lot of the community, even that that's an expansion, but even that expansion from the community has, from what I've heard, has not been the greatest. The next thing is going to be their vanilla. Really? Like, they need to be putting out something more, a little bit more.
Well, you heard of like what their biggest game touted about World of Warcraft is the remaster of it. Was it World of Warcraft 2 or whatever like that? or the first one is being remastered.
No, that's the vanilla. That's what I'm talking
vanilla.
about.
Yeah,
that's
the
vanilla.
classic.
That's what I'm talking about. Even that's really the next thing, but that's still just going a little backwards and just kind of trying to bring some fans back. Even then, they just need to put something new out there.
That World of Warcraft classic or vanilla, whatever you want to call it, that's not going to bring in new money. That's going to be, people that are already throwing money at them are just going to throw a little bit more. They need like a brand new IP, a brand new game, or a big name that they already have with a larger number after it. And they're just not there right now.
No, like, wow, when did Diablo 3 came out? What, 2012? Then and then what, StarCraft came out 2010. It's been forever since they've done something, and it's really disappointing for such a really good company. They just put too much into like these live services, like Overwatch. Even though it was in the beginning, it was a reasonably interesting game, but over time that game just degraded, and they put too much money into their esports. That's where a lot of the people who lost their jobs are from, that division, their esports division. Like I was watching those, that their big like tournaments that they were hosting, but I think they just put too much into into that basket, and now it's breaking. Not necessarily in their bank, because apparently the CEO is like got a really nice bonus, but yeah.
See, now I kind of disagree with you on the Overwatch statement. I'll save it. What about you? You chimed in Tuesday. What are you thinking about this?
I think it's more of just a business standpoint of bigger profits for the CEO and the company as a whole, which I hate to say that, but that's always my first thought when I see big cuts like this, that it's like they had all that growth and it's like, well, we'll see where we can make the cuts and get rid of these people, and maybe they're not producing as much, on the bigger end of the spectrum. Like you were talking, it needs to be a bit bigger and better than they've already been doing, and perhaps these people aren't the biggest and best that the company feels are there, and so that 8% is what they're viewing as the dead weight of the company, so to speak, and so they're just like, nah, and we can have better profits if we get rid of these people. So I always look at it more from a business standpoint, I guess.
Okay. No, that makes sense. It makes sense. What about you, Steve? What are you thinking?
Well, I think Tuesday has it right on the nose. They are a business. Like, I know we are gamers. We are fans of games. We want the game developers to have all the money, but in the end, it's a business and they have to make money. And, we don't know what their, how much they've made, what their cost projections are. We're not really privy to that information, but I could see them saying like, hey, look, we made money this year and we have, X number of employees. We don't have anything in the hopper to make just as much money, coming up. So if we don't lay off a bunch of people, now we're going to start losing money. That's bad for business. So what do? You cut people. And then, what'll happen and what we won't hear is when they start ramping up production on whatever their next new thing is, they're going to hire a bunch of people. And, we won't hear that part of the story. Right. But yeah, I think this is pure business. And, maybe it had something to do with the, mobile Diablo, backlash that they got. Because like at this point, they're not, maybe their plan was like, oh yeah, this game will do well and it'll make this amount of money and blah, blah, blah. And now it's definitely not, like it's on everybody's shit list, just because the way that they presented and all that. And so like they have to take that into account too. Like they were counting on X amount of money and now that's just not going to be there. And they kind of have because they have a couple of behemoths behind them, like the Overwatch, like the World of Warcraft, these big franchises that make money consistently, give or take. They can do the Valve thing and sit back and say like, okay, what are we going to do next? Like we don't need to pump out a new game every 6 months. we're making money on the back end. Valve says, hey, we have Steam now. We're getting a cut of every purchase. Now we can take a step back and just make 1 or 2 games whenever we feel like it. And, maybe they're trying to go that route. I mean, it's Blizzard. They've got great games. And some of them are still around and, they don't need it. So cut the chaff, which is unfortunate. That sucks. I hate it that people are losing their jobs. That's totally sucks. But from a business point of view, it probably makes perfect sense. I mean, what are you going to do? Just have a bunch of people sitting around going, what are we going to make now? That's a waste of money. So
no, I agree. So the question I have for you guys, and then I'll help me with my point, is what are the 2 reasons that people are laid off? There's always 2 reasons.
Okay.
Or it's one of 2 reasons. One is we don't have enough money to pay you.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is we don't need you. But we can't fire you. Okay.
Yeah. It's
so everybody keeps saying Blizzard. Okay. Now you have to realize Activision and Blizzard are the same company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's Activision Blizzard, right?
Activision Blizzard. Okay. So we got to watch out for these, at Blizzard, it's like we gotta watch when they say at Blizzard, they're still talking Activision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it says the layoffs appear to only affected non-game development departments such as publishing and esports, both of which were expected to be hit hard. This is straight from Kotaku's article about this. So what this ties into Bungie. Okay. So Bungie came in, and from what it seemed like is that Bungie still published. It seemed that Activision owned Bungie as a partnership, so it was the parent company. Okay, so when Bungie decided that, hey, we're going to get up and leave, and we're going to terminate, or we're going to buy out of our contract, whatever you want to say, they got up and left. Activision got up and left. Somebody bought out somebody. Somebody did whatever it is. Okay. Bungie did not say, everybody who's on the Bungie team, come on, you're going to come work for us now. And Activision didn't say, hey, everybody that's on the Activision team, you're going to come and stay with us now. You can't tell me that these people were not back and forth and saying, I'm doing stuff which can be considered, I'm doing stuff for Activision and I'm doing stuff for Bungie. What I'm getting at is they said, okay, we have these publishing things, we have these esports things, we have all of these things that are non-developmental people. And we have just lost a multi-million-dollar bringer in developer partner. Okay. And they're off going to do their own thing, their own thing. So now your back end people of marketing, your back end people of non-publishing thing, your back end people of whatever, we don't need you anymore. We don't need you to do this Destiny stuff, because the developers are not marketing Destiny. It's the marketers that are doing that. It's the publishers that are doing that. We don't need you to write all these things. We don't need you to go on these interviews. We don't need you to do all of this stuff anymore. We have our esports stuff. We have our Overwatch people. We have our, World of Warcraft people. We have our Call of Duty people. We don't need you anymore. So goodbye. And I think that that's what's happening, is that these were the people that were kind of sitting in between of saying, if somebody left and this contract was gone, these are the people that we wouldn't need. And that's what I think Activision is doing. They're just saying, we don't need you no more. If they said, hey, we're going to be laying off a whole bunch of developers off of the Activision Call of Duty team, or we're going to be, cutting a whole bunch of developers off the WoW team. Well, there's a different story. There's what's going on? But these are non-essential non-developers that they're cutting. It's people that probably had some focus on what's going back and forth. The other thing too that people are not picking up on, and I think it's even a big story too, is they didn't even put up a fight for Destiny. Which, what does that say about Activision and their thought about Destiny? It's a dead IP. It's a garbage IP that we don't feel like backing anymore. So go and take it. Because if it was making money, like if Treyarch finally went over and said, you know what, we're going to go over and we want nothing to do with Activision and we want to pull Black Ops with us and we're going to take Black Ops with us. You don't think that this wouldn't be in litigation for years?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So in my estimation, this is a smart business move by a company that realizes we don't need these people. It's a sad thing to say, but it is a business thing to say. On the other end, you can't 100% put it on Activision. I think, whoever in Bungie said, you know what, we're going to break away and we're going to buy out of the contract out of Activision. Well, guess what? You just cost 800 people their jobs.
Yeah, but I mean, that's business for them too. Like they might have their own in-house people and they just don't have, having all that support staff, we'll just put it that way, for, a giant company with a ton of IPs versus one company with one big IP, or only a couple. You don't need that many people. So there's no way that they could have brought all those people with them.
Exactly.
It just doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they left them behind. There was no other games to absorb them, and so now they had to get cut. It sucks. It's sad, but it's business. And
it is. And if people are still doubting me on it, if this was going to happen, why did it happen less than a month after Bungie bought out?
Yeah.
It's because they don't feel like paying salaries for another month.
Well, yeah, not that they don't feel like it, but the numbers in the end need to stay black.
Correct.
Correct. Can't dip in the red. The investors will pull out.
Correct.
Yep.
So that's my thought on it. I think it's more of a Bungie related thing than just, hey, we just want to lay people off. I don't buy that.
Yeah, it wasn't for fun.
Yeah.
Like there's not a big evil company ruining people's lives for fun. It's business.
EA. No. Only kidding.
Well, I had another thought too while I was listening to you talk about. No. I don't mean to cut in either.
No, you're fine.
But in taking the people from one end of another and saying, these are ours, and I guess kind of saying, we have our team and we're going to merge here, but we're going to leave this behind here. What if there's also other contracts that we don't hear about? Because some companies do some type of contracting where they say, you're going to be with us X amount of years unless this happens. And then what if those, 800 people just happen to fall within that category of, well, what if this happens? And then it's that's the end of your contract regardless with us.
That 100% correct. It could be that they had a third party marketing team.
We would never hear about that.
Yeah,
no, we wouldn't. We would never hear it. I mean, think of how many companies, say, hey, we're going to have a marketing, but we don't do our own marketing. We have a third party coming into our marketing. We have a third party coming into our publishing. We have a third party coming into our legal things so we can take things to market. That's an excellent point. Is if anything went south between the contract between Bungie and Activision, all these third party people, you're out of the contract.
Toast, yeah.
Yep.
So, but I think it does suck when nobody ever wants to lose their job, nor do we ever want somebody to lose their job. But I mean, it's business, and it's Steve, you said it. They want to stay in the black. They don't want to see the red. And we'll get on to our last game of the night, our last topic of the night, and that is the Anthem demo. Considering that Anthem is going to be coming out in this really crazy release schedule thing that they're doing, but so it's coming out on the 15th and it's coming out on the 22nd. So
wait, what?
Yeah,
it's a weird early release.
Weird. So supposedly, if you have it, and I'll get into the game in a bit, So supposedly, if you have it pre-ordered on Xbox, you get to play it on the 15th for 10 hours.
Okay.
Like you only get like 10 hours of being able to play it.
Okay.
Is that 10 hours consecutive? Like 10 hours how the Resident Evil demo was done?
I don't know.
What kind of 10 hours? I mean, that could be a large gap of time if I sit down for 2 hours and then come back to it later.
Correct.
I need to know if I need to block out 10 hours of my day.
Exactly. No, I my buddy says that this is true. I haven't seen it, so I don't know if it's 100% true with it. I do know that the 100% true one is that if you have EA Access Premier.
Here, I'm going to post it on Discord. There's an image that...
There is?
Yeah, there's an... I'll post it on... Keep talking. I'll post it on...
If you have EA Access Premier for PC, which is only available or only for PC for this deal, is that you get to play the full game, no restrictions. You get to play the whole game. Like there's no restrictions for however long you want, like forever. If you have EA Access, the non-premier, I think you get 10 hours that you can play it on the 15th. If you're on PlayStation, I think you just got to wait until the 22nd when it actually gets released. So I think that's what that is. And
it's like the smallest image ever.
Really?
I have no idea where he put it. Oh, there it is. Jesus, think you could have made it.
Wait, is it? Give me a second. That's weird.
It's not him. Like where it's. I saw like where he pulled it from, and it's small there too.
Okay, Give me 1 second, and I'll just give you the link to the.
So we're looking at a chart. Like I found
there
one on Forbes. You got another one there from what is telegraph.co.uk. Oh yeah, that one's better to look at.
There you go.
Yeah, that's better.
Sorry guys.
Okay. No, it's cool. Demo access February 1st, that happened. Early access of the full game February 15th. That's on the Origin Access Premiere on PC.
Mm-hmm.
And then play first trial 10 hours on February 15th is for Xbox One and Origin Access Basic on PC. So if you're a basic bitch, that's where you go. And then the full game February 22nd for
everyone else.
Everyone else.
Yep.
So play first trial 10 hours. That to me, Tuesday sounds like you get to clock in a total of 10 hours. And then after you've clocked in 10 hours, it'll shut down on you until the 22nd. That's what it sounds like. I don't know.
Yep.
Okay, so nobody has to block out their whole work day to play the first 10 hours.
No.
Well, you still could, and then just soak up the rest of that time in that Pokemon sauce.
Oh, really?
Hashtag Pokemon sauce.
And that's our preview for Anthem. No.
All that sauce.
No, I think so I was able to actually play the demo when it actually allowed you in.
Lucky.
Well, fucking good for you.
Yeah, I know.
All of us all played Loading Simulator.
I did. It was awesome.
Loading Simulator. I honestly, I only was able to play for about 2.5 hours, and then it was dumped down. And I got kicked out, and then I crashed, and then I was playing Loading Simulator too. From what I saw, though, it's a very interesting. It's a very interesting concept. It reminds me very much of Destiny. As far as mission structure, here you get a mission, go out and do it in the world, come back to this hub and collect more missions, collect more gear, blah, 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 repeat.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine. It is something that works. Everybody hears me gripe on Destiny. The problem with me with Destiny is that it always felt that everything was the same. Like you were going to the same place and grinding the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And then we would release something and say, hey, look, you can do this now. But it's still the same thing over and over and over and over and over.
I won't deny that as a Destiny player. I will deny that.
It's just, you will deny it or you won't deny it.
I won't deny it. There's certain aspects of the games that are like that, unless you get into the later stuff. But it is pretty repetitive in the beginning.
Yeah, and then it just kind of felt like you were waiting for things to happen, and it's like I don't want to play a game where I'm waiting for things to happen. It's like if I want to move, let's move. The difference with this one is that Anthem seems a whole shit ton bigger, with a whole bunch more things to explore.
When you say bigger, do you mean like more diverse?
No, the way I see it, the landscape is great because it looks like you're literally Iron Man flying around. From everything I've seen and every gameplay video I've been able to watch, it looks interesting.
I'm talking physical. I'm talking physically bigger.
Okay.
With it, because you're right. You actually fly around. You jump off the ledge of a mountain, and basically you can wait until you can slam into the ground, or you can hit your boosters at the last point and just fly off like Spider-Man, like Iron Man. In fact, I really do think, and I don't know if they have the same voice for it, but your like internal your suits are called javelins. Your internal person that talks to you sounds like Jarvis. So
that's not a mistake.
I vote to have multiple voices for my Jarvis.
Oh, that's DLC. That's coming.
I will accept that. I would pay for that.
That sounds cool, but that's also something that after you've played about 10 hours, that's just the way you get around.
It's another looter shooter, yeah. So
right, do they do anything interesting with the flying? Is there air combat? Are there puzzles that you have to fly around?
There are some puzzles. I haven't seen any air puzzles, but there are puzzles. As far as everybody has like their fuel, so through upgrades, like it gives you reasons to upgrade. Like if you want to have a longer booster pack and you want longer flight, you can do that. If you want to become stronger, if you want a different weapon.
Is it like you have a fuel tank and you can only go so far and then you have to go back home to refuel? But if you upgrade your fuel tank, you can go farther. Is that like the strategy they're going with?
It actually refreshes after you've
think like a solar battery.
Yeah, like a solar battery.
Okay. Because I was thinking maybe they were locking like later content by distance. Like you can only fly so far, and then you have to walk on foot, or you can upgrade your jetpack or whatever, and then you can get there, faster. And so, after you would upgrade everything, all the end game stuff is far away, And so, but
that's where the grind comes. You can do all of that. Like the customization of your javelin is so extensive. And I think that this is where it's going to start to differentiate itself from Destiny, is that this is giving you a reason to grind. This is giving you a reason to go out and explore. You want to collect these things. You want to get these things so you can upgrade your suit. Like you're getting to the point where it's not just like, oh, this is the type of material. Like this is the type of metal. This is the type of design. This is the type of armor that you're putting on your javelin. And it's like your shoulder, it's your arm, it's your leg, it's your chest, it's your helmet. This is the kind of booster pack that you want. These are the colors. These are the shades. Do you want it to look rusted? Do you want it to look like it's brand new? Do you want it to shine? Do you want it to be dull? Do you want it to be dented? I mean, like it's all of these customization options. You have emblems that you can stick, like they look like stickers that you can put all over your javelin, or designs and logos. So like it becomes a fashion show at that end. Yes, it does. And it's like, to me, like that, I love that. Like I'll go back to the Division. I loved getting a new piece of gear and putting it on and seeing what my guy looked like. What did this gun look like? What does this vest look like?
That reminds me way back when I played the EverQuest. Way back when MMOs were in their infancy, and you see somebody run by wearing something that you didn't even know existed, and it was like, what is that? Yes. How do I get that? And if they can bring that same sense of wonder to Anthem and with the suit building, that'd be cool. Because even in Destiny, when you were at the tower, their hub areas or the farm or wherever, and you see somebody wearing something cool, it makes you go like, wow, like I didn't know that was out there. Like what kind of quests are they going on? And that could, that's, you know, part of the problem with the Destiny, the latest, is that their armors don't look cool anymore. But that's kind of opinion. So.
Well, that's the thing, is that everybody gets the same armor.
Well, with the latest update, it's been revamped, so it's way better now.
Okay, well that's good then.
So I'm back into fashion Destiny again.
Yeah,
trying to look awesome.
But and I think so. So from there, and I only scratched the surface of the customization. Like it goes so deep. It goes extremely deep.
Does it go too deep? Because like I want my suit to look cool too, but am I going to spend 30 hours grinding for a cool shoulder pad that doesn't do anything better than my old shoulder pad except for it looks cool? Like
I would say then it would be the type of player you are. Are you really into making your javelin look the coolest, or are you one of those min-max that doesn't really care about aesthetics and just cares about the output of their javelin? It really becomes the ability of the person. But
that kind of gets me into my first, I don't want to say wrong, but first, or even a concern, just let's call them head scratchers.
Okay.
That's one thing, is it going to be so loot heavy that I don't want to play a game for 12 hours for me to get a knee pad?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then again, I don't want to be playing the game for 12 hours and now suddenly I have 70% of everything that I can collect.
Like you don't want to play for that long and have 30 knee pads that are all essentially the same, plus or minus, 0.01 point of armor, and go
Correct.
like, oh, now it's inventory sorting simulator, and I don't want to play Fallout 76.
That's Destiny. That was Destiny 2. I'm not gonna lie.
That was.
Yeah, it's like it's green, automatically deconstruct it. Like, oh, it's blue, green. What I'm looking for purples.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Now. And I think the other thing too, and I think they fixed it, was that like when you were in the central hub, you were not allowed to run. So you were walking really slow, and like it drove me nuts. Supposedly they fixed that. Supposedly you have the ability to run now in the central hub.
Well, do you get to like walk around the campfire and make coffee and like talk to your other gang members?
No, that's Red Dead.
Okay, yeah. That, I mean, come on, John. Like,
I will say though, it's kind of bland, the central hub, and I think that's just because they didn't. I don't think they wanted to put everything in the game, so I think there's going to be more added to it. And then obviously the servers were heavy, but like you didn't see a lot of people running around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that was because there were server issues, so you didn't really see a lot of people. I could see it get populated. I could really see it being populated fast.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's going to be good. The only other head scratcher that I have too, and I think I know the answer to it, and it makes sense the more that I say it to myself. So like, let's say you pick up a weapon or you pick up a piece of armor, like while you're exploring or whatever, you can't equip it right away.
Level lock?
No, not level lock. You can't equip it. Like I can't go into my inventory and say, okay, I want to have this gun. Like I have to go back to the central hub and I have to
install it onto your machine, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So, but it makes sense. Like there's two reasons that it makes sense to me. One, you're a javelin. You're basically a robot. Okay.
Yeah.
How can I put a gun onto me, or can I put a piece of armor onto me? It has to be installed. So it makes sense in the game. The second part is if let's say I'm exploring with you and 3 other people, and we're flying around, and suddenly I get this weapon or whatever like that, or I get whatever. I'm not going to like say, okay, guys, hold up. I want this, and I want to do inventory management now. So I think it stops players from doing that. So I think I kind of like that.
Okay, so you want to like say, hey, let's finish our quest run. Let's finish doing these missions, and then we'll all go back together. We'll all upgrade, take 20 minutes, go to the bathroom, and then we'll go out again. I can see that. And then if it was like a longer mission, or like if you're doing some kind of end game content, I could see there being like little like workbench hubs, that kind of deal where like oh yeah, I can just, fix one or two things, then keep going so I don't have to go all the way back. That's fine. That's interesting. That's an interesting mechanic that they threw in there. Yeah.
And then my last thing, and then we can kind of finish up with final thoughts, is the thing I really, really love is that, and once again, I go back to Destiny because it's what reminds me most of it, is if I want to play as my Titan, I have to log out and come back in as my Titan. If I want to play as my Warlock, I have to log out and have to play as my Warlock. In Anthem, if I want the Heavy, if I want the Ranger, if I want the light moving one, whatever, I don't remember. But like, there's 4 of them out right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get, like, I can go back to my central hub and be like, I want to play as that one, and I want to go into that suit. So that's the suit I'm going to go in for my next set of missions. And then I want to be the Heavy. I want to be the tank on the next one. So I'm going to go into my tank suit on the next one. Like, I don't have to log out of my character and go back in.
That's awesome.
I like that idea. I like that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
You change your class on the fly without having to reload. That's awesome.
Correct. So final thought is there's some head scratching things, but it is a beta. It is a demo. And I am looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the server crashing because I know it's probably going to happen like all new games do. But I'm looking forward to Anthem. Now that I've been able to play it for a little bit, I am more excited about it than I was.
So
cool.
I have final thoughts for this podcast. So as far as The Division and Anthem, since they're both looter shooters, which one would you pick up first, minus the release date? So I asked this to all 3 of you. I'm going to give you this to you 3. Which one would you pick up first?
I'll go first and say that I would, all things being equal, I'd pick up Anthem first, just because I've already played Division 2 and I get what it's going for and I like it, but it's also a game that I've kind of already played. It's saying in the sense that it's very much like Division 1. I get what it's going for. Anthem seems to be trying to do, it's a new IP. It's trying to do new things. It's, Iron Man Destiny game. And so all things being equal, I'd try that one first. Not to say that I wouldn't then immediately a week later go out and buy Division 2 right afterwards, but I'd go Anthem first.
Okay. Tuesday?
I think I'm going to have to agree. I think I would also go Anthem first. It just seems like a more interesting game to me.
All right.
I don't know. Like Division sounds cool and everything, but I think I'd rather just Anthem. They're not typically games I would play, but I like the sound of Anthem a bit better.
And that's all we want. Okay.
Yep.
Dan.
Can I make the obvious joke and said I'll pick up Anthem first because in 6 months Division's going to be $30?
Oh,
yes. It is your opinion. It's your
I'm only kidding. That's just the joke that goes on. I would be leaning towards Anthem also, even though I love The Division, and I know I went on a huge thing about how much I love The Division. I think Anthem, because it's a new IP, would be harder to pick up 6 or 8 months later and try to get into it and catch up where everybody's at. Where in The Division, I understand what's going on already with it, and I feel I could hold my own until I leveled myself into where I was at. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
totally.
So I would do that, and then I'm also a sucker for customization. I love pretty colors and emblems and all of that, and that. So that right there is just kind of like, yay! I got a new piece of gear. I'm going back home. I'm going back to the hub and I'm going to go put it on.
Guilty as charged there as well.
There you go. Yeah. And we'll leave this to the audience as well. What would you guys want to pick up as far as these 2 looter shooters are concerned? So there you guys go.
Absolutely. As Jesus, as you said. So let us know in comments and all of that, suggestions, all of that. Please leave your comments. Like I said, subscribe, leave us ratings. Let us know how we're doing. If we're doing great, if we're doing horrible, let us know what we can work on. And hopefully we're doing good and you leave us some compliments. But with that, guys, any final thoughts on anything else?
Let's hope I can finish the Kingdom Hearts before Anthem comes out.
Okay.
The one thing I didn't mention earlier, but the thing that I really want to do now is finish Red Dead Redemption 2. I played about half an hour of it today, and just so I can enjoy all the memes, because I'm missing out on a lot of them because I haven't finished the game yet. So I'm going to do that.
Well, we'll look forward to your report next week, Steve.
Oh, fuck that. I hope I have enough time.
Oh, whatever.
Ooh.
Well, this is the Save Point podcast.
What about Tuesday?
Oh yeah, Tuesday. I'm sorry.
You keep forgetting Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. It's my day.
Let her have her day.
Let me have my one day. Actually, I'm really trying to get myself to recommit to Breath of the Wild. So that's going to be my project this week, I think.
You have to. It's such a good game.
Oh, I know it's a great game. I just have that game ADD where I'm just like, I want to play this, and then 5 minutes later I'm like, no this, no this, no this. So
and then you play Pokemon instead because
it's like my comfort game. It's like how I watch Bob's Burgers compulsively because it's my comfort show. Like that. Pokemon is it's my comfort game. Oh, I heard that groan.
Wait 1 second. I'll post it on Discord.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, and then speaking of that, while he's posting that, I do have to say from last week, you guys are evil, evil, evil people with that Donald Duck stuff.
How far How far did you make it?
About 30 seconds.
Oh, better man than I am.
Yeah, that was horrific.
Yeah, I can't stand Frozen in the first place, and I am going to dread the day that my dad wants to watch Frozen.
Oh, just wait until you get to the Frozen level, then.
Oh, thanks, Jesus.
You heard my report.
I did. So,
it's not as bad as it is.
Yeah. But well, once again, though, as I said, I think this is going to do it for us this week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Find us on our Discord. Thank you again to the BSPN network for having us on them, and also partnered with ouchthathurts.com, HERTZ. Check them out, and we'll see you guys next week.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Pokemon Solids.